Editing in GarageBand is pretty straightforward, pretty easy to pick up. Just like any piece of software, it's about knowing how to access all the functionality that it offers. I went ahead and recorded a sample podcast intro, and we'll edit this as we go through some editing tricks. Your editing style may differ, and we're definitely not going to go into all of the menus. I'm just going to hit the stuff that you need to knock out some editing and really get working towards your first podcast. The first thing, let's check out some visuals that you might want to adjust. Over here is a zoom. That'll give you the horizontal zoom. If you click on these scissors, it'll give you a better view of the waveform, and I like to use the waveform in editing quite a bit because it's easier to see where your playhead, that's this guy, where your playhead is on the track. Simple playhead controls, but I will left click, hold, and drag the playhead and then use spacebar to start and stop. And of course, the playhead is where the editing action is going to happen. Let's just go to the beginning and listen to this sample voiceover I recorded. And take one. Welcome to this week's podcast, where we'll talk to a guy about some stuff, some things, and some other stuff. So obviously we have a few edits to make on this. Pretty simple stuff. Again, we're going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Let's say we want to tighten up this end. Don't forget, just hover over the end of the region, and it will allow you to trim the end. Over here, we want to go ahead and get past this part. And take one. So we want to start right about there. Let's hover over the end, left click, hold, and drag, and trim that in. Now, we have a definite section that we want to cut out. Welcome to this week's... And again, we can even go down in here, put the play... Let's go ahead and cut that out. So here's my favorite trick in editing. It is split region at playhead. We'll go ahead and split it after the section that we're looking to cut out. And then let's go ahead. One important thing to remember, if you try edit split region at playhead and nothing happens, it doesn't split, it's because you don't have the region and or track selected. So let's go ahead and select that region, edit split region at playhead, and there we go. We've selected this region that we want So we've selected this region we want to cut out. Now let's go ahead and look at our options here. If you hit delete, it will remove that region, but there's still a gap there. So that's one option. You can also delete and move, and it will close that gap for you. Now let's bring that back and look at some other options. Maybe you want to add a new track. New track with duplicate settings will allow you to then left click, hold, and drag and make that tight edit. Select the region that you want to lose, highlight it, and delete it. Now we can make this edit really tight and overlap. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Now, one other note, if you're going to drag regions around a bunch, left click, hold, and drag, you might want to select under the edit menu, alignment guides, because that'll show us like alignment guides. You can figure that out. When you put these right next to each other, right where they need to be, the yellow alignment guide pops up. There's track alignment guides, and that's pretty handy if you're going to be dragging those around a bunch. Now, let's say we want to mess with the volume. Here's the option for that, show automation, and make sure you select the button on the specific tracks. Now, here's our automation for our volume. So if I left click, hold, and drag, it'll drop the volume, and you can tell by how much. Here it is, let's go minus 9.5 dB. Podcast, where we'll talk. So you can see it affected the whole track. Now, I can put in automation points. So let's say I just want to drop half of this down. Here's what I'll do. I'll click it twice, 2 automation points, and then 2 automation points here. What that will do, because if you don't put those second ones in there, watch, I'll remove those second ones. If you put one in there and you drag it down, you can see it bends there. And we put the second one in. Great, that works. And now we're just affecting the region that we want to. But the problem is, if you have a bunch of regions back here, now you've affected them as well. So what I like to do is go ahead and put 2 automation points where my edit's going to be. Drag that down there, drag that down there. Another thing, if you're going to be moving around your regions quite a bit and messing with the automation, you want to make sure that you move automation with regions. If that's not selected, once you take all the time to use some automation and move your regions, now all of a sudden those things aren't tied together anymore, but now they are. I can move this around and the volume will be right where I want it to be. That's basically it. Straightforward editing in GarageBand. Keep watching our next tutorial. We're going to go the next step and start actually producing this thing and get you some music, some sound effects, maybe a simple intro on your podcast. As always, keep watching our site, and we'd love to have your feedback. My name's Brady Goodman for DAWUniversity.com.